Hello everyone, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. My name is Christopher the Artist, and welcome back here on the channel of General Spirit Creates. Today we embark on an introduction video to a brand new tutorial series where I show you how to build your very own Republic Commando. Let's get started. Alright folks, as I said in the intro, we are beginning a new series on building your own Republic Commando, and this is going to be very, very exciting because I love Republic Commandos, I love clones in general. This is not my first time building an RC, I've actually built one before, and I'm not the first person to actually build a Republic Commando. There's actually a couple of other people out there who have done tutorials on YouTube, but something that I'm going to do in my series is I'm going to get down to the nitty-gritty on really kind of the in-depths and questions that a lot of people may have on their builds or whatever, what have you. Things regarding like electronics, things regarding materials, and maybe some different resources. There's going to be a lot of things that I cover in my videos as far as strapping and padding is concerned, as well as painting and weathering. There's going to be a lot that we're going to be doing in this series, and the great thing is that most of this entire build is going to come from one maker. There's going to be a few other elements to this build that we're going to be using from other makers, of course, as well as some materials and supplies from Amazon, from some different paint stores, etc., etc. But I'm really excited because I've been wanting to do this kind of a series for a long time, and I think I'm at a point in my life where I think I can do a tutorial justice for you all in terms of building a Republic Commando, but not just a Republic Commando. You can take a lot of the goal in mind is to basically take a lot of the tips and techniques that I show you throughout this series, and you can apply it to other troopers, other clones, maybe other types of troopers out there, not only in Star Wars, but also in other fandoms. What I'm going to be doing throughout this series is doing a step-by-step almost of the different elements per video. The next video that we do after this intro video is going to be featuring the helmet. We're going to treat the arms probably as one video. We may break it up depending on how much footage there is. Torso parts are going to be treated as their own separate video. But backpack, which is one of the hard parts about this entire build, is going to be treated as its own separate video, etc., etc. We're also going to be incorporating some blaster stuff in this series, as well as accessories. My particular Republic Commando that we're going to be working on is not going to be a canon character per se, but it is coming from the original game Republic Commando that was done back in 2005. So, with that said, we're going to be going over kit as well as the different resources that I'm going to be using throughout the series to paint my own RC, and you can follow along, or you can do your own RC. It doesn't matter. It's just creative fun, and I hope to share a lot of know-how and knowledge with you all, and I'm excited to get started. Let's do it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are here in Blender, and before I get into the actual nitty-gritty of the kit that we'll be working with, I wanted to show off one of the resources that I'm going to be using for this build, and this is actually straight up a game rip from the game. It shows off the geospec of the Republic Commando figure itself, as well as the scoring, the detail, the paint, and everything. This is one of the multiplayer skins from the original game, and it is specifically called the Night Ops Republic Commando. And it's pretty dope. It's pretty exciting. I really, really like the paint job and everything. This is something that I am intentionally creating for the creation of a 501st CRL, so that's something that I'll be going for. If anything happens with regards to the paint job and whatever else throughout the series, I will be sure to update people as much as possible. I am going to have a build thread on this, which will be in the link in the description below for anybody who is interested in some of the different details of the paint job that I may either miss or not go over in the series for the sake of time. But this is our primary resource. I did take screenshots of the game model itself, because you can pull up the game, pull up the multiplayer, and switch to this particular skin. But let's be honest, it's a game from 2005. There are things that in the game I would have wished that would be easier to be able to get screen grabs of and everything, but this is like literally the next best thing. It shows all the angles, all the details, and really good lighting and everything, and we had to have a really good idea of what it is that we will be working with. So whenever I'm doing the paint job in this series, this is often the model that I will be looking at. We can get in really, really close at a lot of different angles and everything. So I am very excited to be able to get started on this. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into the kit and all that we're going to be working with. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so here we have the first part we're going over. This entire kit comes from Wicked Armor, or at least most of it does. And first is this helmet kit, which is this beautiful 2-part resin cast from the maker itself. Very easy cleanup ahead of us, with a simple seam line and a few little bits of flashing that we need to clean up. Otherwise, very little work. It also comes with these greeblies here, which are part of the build itself, and we will install later in the next video. Sold separately is the visor kit. Wicked Armor does this amazing visor kit. This is a mirrored visor with a bit of white painted material on there, and then a non-mirrored visor with an LED strip installed, plus a wire to a LED that acts as the flashlight on the side of the helmet. Very simple indeed. The next parts that we're going to be going over are the first of the armor pieces themselves, which are all made, for the majority, out of vacuum-formed ABS plastic. We have the forearms here that are pretty much identical to one another. The elbow plates, very similar to one another as well. The bicep parts, both the left and the rights corresponding wise. And you'll notice that as part of the kit, most of this material has been cut off as part of, most of the flashing material, that is, has been cut off as part of what Rob's process is. We also have the shoulder bell bases here. And that kind of makes up the majority of the arm parts. And then we have these resin casted bits that get inserted into the shoulder bells like so. And then we also have the resin greeblies that are part of the arm attachments. There's going to be some work to do to these later in the arms video, and that will be a very fun cleanup process. And in speaking of the arms, here we have the handplates. Now, these here are the original handplates that come with the Wicked Armor kit that you can totally use for your own build. However, there is an upgrade that we're going to be using with this kit. This is kind of the left and right, but we're going to be using instead for this kit the Polymer Armory builds. Polymer Armory is another maker in the RC community. They also have a vacuum-formed ABS kit setup. Their handplates are excellent, but the big difference here is that there is a vibroplate attachment for the left handplate. This is kind of the guide rail that goes underneath, and then we also have the vibroblade itself. I think this is casted in blue resin, if I'm not mistaken. It could be something different. And then we have an LED configuration. I'm not quite certain if I'm going to have the LED as part of this particular build, but it is a relatively easy install. It just requires a little bit of workaround and functionality. It will fling it up and down quite easily. And moving right along, we have the chest and back plate, which again, the flashing material has been cut off. Very clean, very nice. Got this wide collar here. Shoulder pieces have been cut out. The shims on the sides, all clean and cut. We have this hole in the back of the back plate here that will be for the backpack, but otherwise pretty much set to go for our assembly. And right after that, we have the abdomen section, which consists of the ab plate here, which is this big piece. Got these little details and recesses, this little bit down at the bottom to attach the cod. And then we have the kidney plate itself. And quite easily, this part will be a clamshell process, but we'll get to that later in the torso video. And moving right along to the next parts, we have the posterior plate, the cod plate, and the hip plates. A lot of these parts will have to be trimmed. The cod plate is pretty much trimmed as it's going to be, but you will definitely need to do some trimming up and shoring up of the different parts to make them seamless and work to your body. We will be going over all of that in the torso video, like I said before. And moving right along once more, we get to the first of the lower parts of the body, specifically the legs. And these are the thigh plates. We have the front halves, both left and right, accompanied with, of course, the back halves. And you'll notice that there are pretty much no return edges on any of these pieces. That is by design, which we will go over later on. And in speaking of the rest of the lower parts, we have the shin guards and the kneecaps. Now, the shin guards and the calves, in this case, like the thighs, also have very little return edges. The only parts that does have a bit of a return edge is this top part here, where the knee will eventually get installed. There is going to be a pretty unique strapping system in order to make sure that the knee stays in place and is able to be taken off at the same time. There's also these little greeblies for the boots. We will not be using those. These are actually for an old version of the kit, so don't worry about them. And of course, what is a trusty Republic Commando without his backpack? Now, the backpack is a two-part vacuum farm piece, again with a window that's been installed. We will be replacing that later. We also have the handlebars, which come pre-installed as well. That is not a problem for this kit. And then we also have the inside of the back of the backpack that will get some work at the same time. The backpack will be treated as its own separate video because there's a lot to it, and it's a big one for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we get into kind of the soft goods. We have here this ABS vac kit neck seal from Wicked Armor. It comes with the kit, but it's ABS. It's kind of uncomfortable, despite the fact that it will work for approval for the 501st and such. But as an upgrade, we have this beautiful leather neck seal from Aaron Combs, aka Fumart on the CTD forums, and it has a Velcro closure in the back, Velcro tabs on the sides, and it is an absolute must to have whenever you are sizing your RC armor, specifically the chest and back. We'll be getting into that later, and it's just beautiful, very well crafted and recommended. Okay, and as far as soft parts are concerned, the last of what we have are the boots and the gloves, both of which are purchased from the maker Crow Props, who have been making a lot of boot wear for troopers and costumers alike in, the 501st, Rebel Legion, etc. These boots here are going to get slightly modified to fit CRL / costume standards, but they have very accurate treads on the bottom there, as you saw, and they also have these awesome motorcycle-esque gloves with a Velcro closure for the wrist.
and they're actually really, really comfy despite not being the most dexterous. There is a Velcro tab on the bottom here that will be for the attachment of the hand plates, but very nicely made and very well done.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a lot of information with regarding the kit. There are going to be, in the respective videos further down the line, different materials, different resources, different supplies that I'm going to list for you to follow along if you're following along with this series, i.e. electronics bits, different tools, different materials, etc., different paint. I didn't go over paint necessarily in this video in wide detail, but there's going to be a lot of really fun stuff that we're going to be covering throughout the series that I did not get to in this video for time, but I hope that what I've provided is informational. I hope that what I will provide will be beneficial and helpful to you, the builders, following along, as well as people who are just getting into Armored cosplay and everything. I hope this will be a very informative series for you all, and I can't wait to share the progress. Thank you all for watching, everybody. Feel free, of course, to hit like and subscribe, and don't forget that bell notification icon such that you can get all the updates on the channel as I upload videos, etc., so you can follow along. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.